Hey, how's it going? Rant and Chill, Mr. Deadman here. How you guys doing? This is on the new channel, Rant and Chill. Gonna keep things Rant and Chill related on here. Gonna talk about Ethan Ralph. I suppose maybe some of you guys who watch this may not know who he is. I'm sure though a lot of you do. If you don't know who he is, come on, I think most people do. Host of the Killstream, a show that used to be popular on YouTube back a long time ago, seems like. Really popular, would trend all the time. Okay. Yeah, conservative leaning channel, I guess, show. Interesting guests. Internet Blood Sports for a little while. That's highlight. Controversial guests. Interesting. Had interesting interviews. In fact, you could say the reason why it was kicked off of YouTube is because it went too far on having interesting discussions. And, well, I think, yeah, its last stream on YouTube, official on the kill stream, was the Heal stream, where in an effort to raise money for kids of cancer, you also put in a conversation about the Holocaust. And, I'm all for talking about interesting topics and things that could be quite interesting to go into, but probably not a good look. Definitely not a good look, but it is what it is. Anyway, none of that really matters because that's not what the kill stream is anymore. The kill stream is now, long story short, it's on Trovo, and I think it's back on D Live. I don't know. Either way, two streaming platforms that people were like, what? Exactly. They're both controlled by CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. They're both, I mean, if you want to test that theory, say Taiwan #1 and see what happens. Okay. Go to dlive.tv or trovo. I think it's TV. I have no idea what it's called. And put that in the chat and see what happens. You'll be taken out real fast. But Ethan Ralph is embarrassing of a human being. Embarrassing human being. He had a show that was really popular. He had something. And he just let it go. He just pissed it all away. He destroyed everything. He just watched. He just couldn't help himself but to ruin it all. But, that's a whole stream worth if I want to go into the history of the kill stream and all that, but I'm not going to do that here. What I'll do is, in short, it's a mix of Maker's Mark, a lot of liquor, taking a lot of pills that were his mom's, and he can't help himself but to want to stick his dick into anything possible. Any woman possible. Any woman that'll give him the time of day. And we're not talking about lookers. I mean, we're talking about getting them while they're fresh out of high school. So, I'm going to play a clip here. This Ethan Ralph guy talking about how it's A-OK to have sex with an underage prostitute, a sex worker. Okay, that's what we're going to get into. And then we're going to talk about prostitutes and why it's never okay to be a prostitute. Okay, all right, ladies, you might be in a situation where you might need some fast cash and say it's okay. You sell your body once for a quick some quick money. Okay. But if you get in that business, you stay in there long. You'll be exposed to all sorts of nasty stuff. You'll be part of an industry that exploits and pries and destroys. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Don't worry. With a smile on my face, we'll all get into that. Here we go. First, let's talk about Ethan Ralph. Ethan Ralph. All right, let's play this
Well, yeah, I mean, people can hate you for different reasons. What the fuck are you doing, madman?
You know what? Gates, I never gave a fuck about Gates. The story's crazy as fuck, and I give a fuck.
He doesn't give a fuck about Gates, Matt Gates, the guy who's in trouble for sex trafficking, having sex with an underage girl, 17.
Fuck about covering it, but I don't really care.
Allegedly.
I never cared about him, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is some legend. You know, he paid some 17-year-old whore. She wasn't raped. She was a whore.
And she was a whore. 17-year-old whore. Okay. But that's statute. That's statutory rape. Okay. So it is rape. You're paying okay. Whether or not you pay for it or not doesn't change the fact that it's with someone who's underage. And this person, this underage girl, she's working as a prostitute, as an escort at 17. How does she get into that line of work at so young? And that's probably not her first gig. I don't think that's her first gig. Chances are probably not. That ain't her first gig. So this girl that got into this industry, which is a very dirty, nasty, vile industry, and the people that say it should be legalized aren't really looking at the consequences, especially the gravity of the situation that will unfold when prostitution is legalized. And you see that in countries where prostitution is legal, where they have children. They have higher rates of children being thrown into prostitution. That is real. That is real. What I'm saying here is 17-year-old, she didn't start at 17. She probably started when she was 16. Okay? And we'll get into some stories after this, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so this Ethan Ralph say that it's A-okay. He doesn't have a problem. He does not see a problem with Matt Gates paying for some 17-year-old hooker to have sex with. No problem at all. But it's also coming from Ethan Ralph, who is a man that has no problem with kind of grooming a high school girl through Discord with this influence of internet fame. Okay, to try to groom her and get her over, to fly her out to his place or his friend's place, Dig Masterson. It's a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of racket, right? He has no problems doing that. He has no problems with grooming. He has no problems knocking her up. No problems releasing, because a girl that he groomed, he had sex with her, he filmed it, released a sex tape, ended up knocking her up. Now she's pregnant. She left. She went home. And now he's just another dad that's not going to be there for his kids. Another product of a fatherless household.
I know she was 17, but am I really supposed to be like completely just super offended by that culture war? Or
now he turns it to his co-host, who's supposed to be his yes man. Let's see what his co-host does.
I think most women would probably agree with that more than men would. I think a lot of men reflexively would be like, oh, this is fucked up and disgusting. But I feel like a lot of women actually have a more realistic view on this, funnily enough.
Pause that right there. So women would have a more realistic view on this? Really? I don't think so. If you're in a relationship and your wife finds out that you had sex with a 17-year-old hooker, yeah, she's going to want you dead. She's going to want you dead. She's going to take you for everything you're worth. She's taking the house, taking the kids. When the news gets out, your own family, if you have a good mom and a good dad, and if they're still in the picture and haven't passed away or anything, they may disown you. And rightly so. Rightly so. And if they don't, then I guess they're not good parents. Because there is a point to when a son fucks up so much that even his own mom will say, "You gone too far. You gone too far." And having sex with underage girls is one of those things. Your wife in that situation, your wife, girlfriend, fiance, whatever, should be the one who's going to be testifying against you. How's it going, ET Templar? How you doing? New channel. Good to see you here. Hopefully get some new blood in this channel. I figured if I keep the Rant and Chill stuff separate, it might build up and do its own thing. So there's that. There's that.
Men who like go like, "Oh well, my daughter," you know, but in reality, it's like who gives a fuck, right?
Oh, whoa! So this co-host person, Culture Warrior, was saying that a woman might have a more realistic view as far as it like a girl doing it. I don't think so. I mean, there's women out there that are like, okay, I understand what he's saying now. I know there's women out there. They definitely do exist. You've heard of them. You've seen them. You've probably seen that they're little soap when they get on the soapbox and they advocate for prostitution being legalized. There's women that will advocate that legalizing prostitution is good for women. That, you know, there's nothing wrong with it, whatever. And I'd probably look at this story and be like, okay, the woman did nothing wrong. It was all Matt Gaetz or something like that. When the reality is, in this situation, like I said before, we're talking about underage, 17. How does she get in that line of work? If you want to call it work, being on your back, work. How does she get in that line of work so young? Where did it start? And, man, well, you know, let me drip in some of the real stories, real talk about prostitution and how this stuff happens. Okay. So I'm going to segue here. A lot of people have it in their mind that prostitution, and it happens because, you know, maybe a college student wants to pay off the student loans, pay off the debt, pay for some school books or whatever. And maybe that happens from time to time. Maybe you do like a little gig, he'll sell your body once, maybe twice, whatever, to get some fast cash. Okay. And those stories do happen. Those situations happen. In those situations, they may not actually affect anything in the grand scheme of things necessarily. But there are situations where children, and I say children, I mean 13 to 17-year-olds, 13-year-olds to 17-year-olds are advertised, marketed to, targeted on apps like Snapchat with advertising saying that, hey, you can make $10,000 being a sugar baby. You just be a sugar baby, you know. You can make $10,000 doing that. There's ad campaigns that target young girls on social media, okay? Because they know they're vulnerable. But ask yourself, why are they targeting girls so young? Why? Because they don't have any qualms. They don't have any limitations or ethical considerations or morality. They're not hung up on, oh, that child's too young. Oh, that teenager's 13 or 14 or whatever. No, they don't care about that. If they're interested and they want to learn more, click on that ad. Well, now they're on the rabbit hole. Hey, you want to make some money? Hey. Talk to some certain people. Get started. Social media, I mean, the internet, especially the way it is now, has made it so easy for predators to just expand their reach. They could literally be hey, if you are a father and you have a daughter, a teenage daughter in her room, and she always stays in her room with the door closed, and she's always on Instagram and Snapchat, especially Snapchat or Discord, be very mindful what she's doing, okay? Because you have no idea what she's doing. With the door closed, if she's the type where she spends all her time in the room, you know nothing about her, she's grown distant to you. What I'm saying is this: when she's in that room, on social media, talking to strangers, get involved in things, you bet your ass there might be chances where people try to target her, try to groom her, try to coerce her into things, and she might be willing because she's very young, very naive. Maybe it's money, maybe it's fame, maybe it's, I mean, you see the role models that the kids have these days, not really good role models. And I hate to sound like an old man, you know, but it is what it is. I mean, these girls will just give it up and do whatever for fame, for attention, really. It's not really for fame, for attention. For attention and maybe money. So, getting back to what I was saying here, I started talking about this because of what this culture warrior guy was talking about, how women would have a more realistic view on this underage prostitution. I don't want to believe that they would, while some would find a way to justify it through mental gymnastics, the same way how Ethan Ralph is doing here and Culture Warrior is. It's pretty fucked up. And prostitution is an industry that, when it's legalized, it doesn't contain or control sex work or the sex industry. It just expands it. It grows. It allows more sex trafficking to occur. You know. Anyway, we'll probably get more in depth into that stuff. Because I got a personal story to read. Not my story, but some sex workers' stories to get into. How you guys doing? Don't worry, cheer up a little bit. It ain't your daughter, right? I mean, would you want your daughter to be a prostitute? I don't think you would.
Well, she was a professional whore. Like, what
exactly.
the fuck? I mean,
right.
It wasn't something, he didn't go to the schoolyard or the local.
A professional whore at 17. At 17, you got to think about that. A professional whore at 17. That makes it A-okay. What if she was 16 or 15? You know, I know that's a what if, but hey.
Well, you know, high school football game and pick her up. You know what I mean? It wasn't
exactly.
He didn't chat her up on Discord or whatever. He fucking
didn't chat her up on Discord like you did, Ethan Ralph, huh? Yeah. You see how he's talking from personal experience. Because Ethan Ralph did go to the high school virtually. Their Discord to get his soulmate.
First off, it's retarded. Yeah. What the fuck are you doing? You're hitting up some. Assuming he knew. I mean, maybe he didn't know she was 17. That's possible. I'm thinking he probably did. But
it sounds like he did know, because didn't he fly out to the Bahamas where her age would be illegal? There, the age of consent would be illegal. But you're trafficking an underage girl out to have sex with. I mean, that's stuff like Onision would do, but through state lines. You know, across state lines in the U.S.
Let's say he didn't, because they were accused of making fake IDs and shit. That's why I think that he knew. But let's say he didn't. Either way, you're paying your congressman, you're paying Cash App for your whores and doing all this crazy shit. Like, what the fuck? Why do you even have a staff? Or
oh, there's something else. Mersh random battle encounter. Ooh, what is this? Mersh saw this as an opportunity to farm for content. Okay, let's see what Mersh of Nightwave Radio. I don't really talk about that guy much. Let's see what goodies this has to offer, and then we'll probably go deeper into prostitutes. Guys, it'd be like the trip in Vegas you never had.
I'm here at the Loves. Time now is 6:29 p.m. So people want to play? I'll play. I got that. Don't come near my car. Don't come near my car. Now this guy wants to come near my car. Don't come near my car. I'm busy right now. Go on, beat it.
Is that Mersh?
Go on, get out of here.
I didn't realize he was that fat.
Time now is 6:29 p.m.
Or was that just a random guy? Oh.
Letting this go.
Okay, let's get back.
Sir, you've made me angry. And now, frankly, Raymond McNamara, who's right now was in Ocala just today in his truck and is probably heading north to Tallahassee, Raymond McNamara. Now it's out of my hands, Raymond McNamara. I can't.
Man, he's just saying this guy's name. So Mersh has some beef with this guy. He's just saying his name like that. Okay, all right. It's one thing if he's already been doxxed or whatever, but what is this? Some random encounter? Random beef with somebody?
Tell you, like, I don't know what these listeners are going to do, Raymond. I don't know if they're going to start notifying Florida Highway Patrol or the Florida State Police, mostly the Florida State Police, because they would be the ones. But, maybe people will now start calling the Florida State Police and saying that a crazy man is making wild threats against the governor's life. Now, I'm not saying that, right? But what you're saying here, it ends now, and, it does it, like all that kind of stuff, and you fixating on him. I'm just telling you.
This part's kind of boring me. But, okay, so Mersh is advocating for his audience to go after this guy. Okay, all right. Bad move there, But Mersh is the type of guy that if he had a daughter, she would probably be a prostitute. Same as Ethan Ralph. So there's that. Look, the stories connect. They connect. All right. So let's talk a little bit about prostitutes and prostitution. You hear so much, and I used to be one of these guys. That sex work is work. I guess libertarian sort of view. It's just if someone wants to sell their body, if like some chick wants to make a fast $20 for a blowjob, okay, and it's like a one-off thing, whatever. That doesn't concern me necessarily. If that was my daughter, I definitely would disapprove. I think most people would. Most parents would. I think most parents would have a problem with their daughter or son selling their body for money. And the parents that say they wouldn't, they're probably not good parents. Let's just be honest. They're probably not good parents. Okay? They don't deserve any medals or any books. In fact, they might have written a book about how good they are or how to really parent, but they probably, they raised a son or daughter that started selling their ass and mouth for money. And like I said, if you're like in hard times and you need fast cash, like you're homeless, whatever, and you have to live on the streets, but you're trying to like bounce back. That's street life, man. What you do is street life. You do, but you bounce out of that shit. Don't let it consume you. Don't let it in you. Whatever. But prostitution itself is not not a glorious occupation. It's not an occupation that deserves praise. It's not something that deserves respect. But it's something that's glamorized. You see the glamour of it. You see how it's framed in movies and in Vegas and mainstream media, magazines, everything from Playboy. You know what I'm talking about. It's seen as something that's sexy, hot. Oh, you can make all sorts of money, and you can. Oh yeah, if hey, you want to sell your ass for cash, you can make all sorts of money. Oh, the money can be really good. Really good. But why is it so good? And how long are you going to last in that industry? How long are you going to last? See, the problem I have with this, and I come to realize the reason why I changed my perspective on, sex work is sex work and just who cares? Let it be legal, is because it's the other things that are attached to prostitution that just get into it, that become more acceptable and they become more widespread. People have this theory that if you legalize prostitution, it gets rid of pimps. How does that make sense? What? You make prostitution legal, so the cops are hands off. They're not going to be arresting anybody. And then the pimps go away? I don't think you understand how the pimp game works. You're delusional if you think that. There's escorting services, there's prostitution services. They don't just go away. No, they flourish even more. They grow stronger. They know they call the shots. They know that the police aren't going to do anything. And then some people have the idea that if you legalize prostitution, that then the women that are assaulted could go to the police and they could do something about it. Really? Is that so? I don't know. Based on studies, that doesn't seem to be the case. In fact, they could be assaulted and the police won't do anything about it. First off, we're talking about what? You go into a room with a John, he pays you $140 for sex, and afterwards you want to say you were assaulted. That's not going to go well. And the prostitution agency is not going to like that either. You're going to lose that job. You're not going to be working for that agency, and your name's going to be in there, whatever. And that's the thing. A lot of these women, and when they did these studies, they surveyed women, sex workers that were in like the Netherlands, so where it's legalized or decriminalized or whatever. So, and they would say like they don't have protection. Like they have a driver that drives them to a certain spot, like a call out. Okay. But when they go in there, it's just him and her, and that's it. You don't have a bodyguard in the room. Okay. That guy, that John, could do anything he wants to you. You could disappear that night. Okay. That could be your last call out. He could kill you. He could make your life a living hell. Maybe for some reason you're still clean. Maybe you've been doing the prostitution game for a while and you're still clean. But he can shoot you up with something. There's things that can happen. Of course, there's STDs. But no one really cares about STDs anymore. No one really cares about AIDS anymore, huh? Freddie Mercury had AIDS. It's cool, man. Everyone's going to get it. No one cares about STDs. When people say they want to legalize prostitution, they are looking at it from, that the look of arresting the women for trying to make a dollar. Well, it would be better if there were other occupations that these women could be in And there are other occupations that these women could be in and make decent money, especially on a long-term scale. But whatever. Should the women themselves be arrested? I mean, that part, what do you do? What do you do there? That's the part where I'm still sort of stuck and torn on that. Conflicted. If you arrest the prostitute, what are you really doing? Is the prostitute going to learn anything? Is the prostitute going to wake up and go, oh, you know what? I've been arrested for the 5th time. You know what? The 5th time I'm trying to give BJs under the overpass. I think I'm going to change my ways. No. She's not changing her ways. No, she's just going to do it again. She's just going to do it again. I mean, that's a deeper conversation about what to do with that. I mean, if you arrest them and held them accountable and put them in prison, well, then you take them off the streets and then, okay, all right. Now they're not going to do it again. Another body in prison. You know what? I'm conflicted on that. Part of me is okay with them, with the prostitute. They got arrested for the 5th time, 8th time, 10th time, doing some time in prison. Because they know what they're doing. They know what they're fucking doing. Oh, and it's not a victimless crime. You know, people will say it's, maybe they'll say it's a victimless crime. Oh, it's just sex. There's other things that get involved in it. It's really the reason why you would arrest the prostitute is, I would think, to try to help her realize that, hey, what you're doing is extremely dangerous. You're in a world that's going to kill you, going to destroy you. Like, you got to change your ways. Like, so I don't think going to prison would be the best choice for a prostitute. I think maybe come to Jesus. I don't know. Send her to a church or something. I fucking have no idea. Oh, E.T. Templar, is that true? There's a hooker killer on the loose in the Netherlands? Wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. I mean, there's plenty of serial killers active right now, especially in the U.S. Oh, man, right now is the perfect time to be a serial killer. Police departments are being defunded. Police can't really do much. Crimes are being softened. DAs are not prosecuting. Dude, like, this is it. This is the best time to be a serial killer. Oh, you can easily groom people over Discord, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. You don't even have to go out to find people. You can just bring them to a certain spot, whatever. I mean, like you can have fun with it, I guess. We might hear about it too later on. Oh my God, these crazy killers using Discord and Snapchat to lure victims. Snapchat is genius. Think about it. Hard to trace anything. So, yeah, going back to, I guess, prostitution here. So if you made it illegal, kept it illegal, I mean, you're going to have, and you'll see these, the prostitutes will just spend a night in jail and then go out and balance and do it again. They probably won't learn anything from it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Who knows? Now, they try to arrest the Johns for buying sex. I mean, that would be effective if you arrest the buyer. I mean, you do that too. You arrest the buyer. He doesn't die in jail. He has that on his record. He has explained to his wife he was gone for a little bit. Gone overnight. It's messed up. It's messed up. But people be like, oh, but it doesn't matter. It's just sex. But that's what it boils down to, right? Be like, oh, it's just sex. Who cares, man? And it's the oldest business, right? Like one probably the first sort of transaction humans ever had was probably bargaining for sex. Bartering for sex. I would believe that. I mean, it's something so basic when they give monkeys, chimpanzees, some sort of currency system. The female monkeys, it doesn't take them long to start collecting coins or tokens, whatever they use, in exchange of sex. I think a perfect, I mean, the ideal situation in my mind would just be to educate, well, the ideal world would be where you didn't need, where women didn't have to be prostitutes. They didn't have to do that. It wasn't something that was encouraged to do. Because it is a lifestyle that does make them more susceptible to assault, to rape, to drug abuse. It is a lifestyle that promotes trafficking of young girls, even children. It's something that it is an industry that will destroy them mentally and physically. And while the money is good, the money's only going to be good, and that's only going to last as long as they're able to please the Johns. Maybe they are a sugar baby. They have one particular guy they take care of, and they have to do and follow his demands and whatever fantasies he has. Various lewd acts. They could be anything, probably anything. And you know what I mean by that. And it's like BDSM stuff. Hardcore stuff. Like, these women really need to know what they're getting into before they do it. Or remember the Craigslist killer? Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I might have been him. No. Yeah, it's so easy. It's so easy to prey on hookers because they're so vulnerable. You are getting intimate with somebody, with a complete stranger you've never met before. You do not know them. You don't know anything about them. Set aside the STDs. You have no idea what he's going to do to you. You have no idea that could be your last night. And that's why it's hard for me to be on board with legalizing and encouraging and supporting prostitution as some sort of idealistic occupation. Something that is promoted. And you see how it's promoted. Now, you got Cardi B out there. You got all these other fucking rapper thoughts out there promoting that shit. What they're promoting is a lifestyle of abuse. And if that's what women want, the part of me that's also conflicted on this, hey, if that's what a grown ass woman wants, if that's what an adult woman wants, that's what she wants, that's how she wants to make her money, fine. But don't go complaining when you get choked out. Don't go complaining when you get knifed. When they fuck you too hard and you're bleeding. When they fuck you too hard and you're raw and your insides are coming out. Okay? When you need stitches to keep the ass from bleeding. Because that's what's going to happen. And people are like, well, okay, we'll need to regulate it. What do you mean regulate it? How do you regulate that? Track the Johns? Well, there you go. Maybe that. Maybe the solution is to make it into government work. Track it. Every John has to give their ID and information to be tracked, and then they can get access to a woman or whatever they so desire. That way everything is tracked. And if there was any sort of killing, any sort of foul play, the authorities can intervene and take care of the situation, I suppose. But that wouldn't work either. Because a government-run program gets corrupted with ideology or with opinions and money. Because the Johns are the customer. And besides, that's a sick world where it's like what the government is involved in regulating it, is making sure the Johns are up and up. Okay, what are they doing to making sure that the girls that are involved in it are also of legal wage and maintained and mental health and all this shit? And see, that's stuff I'm talking about. That's like tax money, your dollars, my dollars going towards that. No, I don't even want to entertain that idea. What? Because that's, hypothetically speaking, that's the only real regulation that could be controlled. But it's also a regulation that would require a radical, destructive, immoral, unethical government that would just... Oh, no, I would not. At least the alternative would be, to have like private companies, private industry regulated? Oh, well, that's what happens in the Netherlands. In places where prostitution is legal. Those prostitution services, they do try to regulate. But they also want to make money too. And there's the rub. I want to regulate, but I also want to make money too. What do I do? How about I make the paperwork look good and I make my cash? That's what happens. Besides, once it's legal like that, you'll get illegal operations that pop up and people won't know any different. They won't know any different. Just pop up. Say, okay. Now, I wish I could say that I want to talk about how these girls become prostitutes. Like, we talked about the college kid or the college girl who goes that way to make a quick buck or whatever. But like, some of these girls are, like I said, they're groomed early on. They're targeted early. They might even be sold to a brothel. They might even be sold by their parents, even in the U.S. In Tennessee, they had a huge problem. I think there was a bust of parents selling their kids, daughters, sons, into sex trafficking. Would sell them. Those parents should have never been parents. Never have been parents. But I'm also not pro-abortion either. It's those kids should have been born, but his parents should have never been parents. What do you do with that situation, huh? How do you fix that problem? That's a tough problem to fix. I don't think you can. I mean, there's services already in place. There's authorities already in place, government programs in place to track for abuse and neglect and sex trafficking. You could require doctor checkups. Require parents to take their kids for a daughter, or not a daughter checkup, a doctor checkup here, and if they miss a certain number, be like, okay, what's going on there? Let's send a CPS or something out there to see if the kids are still there. Hey, the kids are gone. What happened to the kids? Oh, I sold them. You did? Oh, that's weird. It wouldn't go that smoothly. They would say, I don't know, I adopted them out. You adopted them out, huh? Okay. I want to see that paperwork. Yeah. Now, on this topic, I'm pretty sure I might have said something that some of you guys may disagree with. That's fine. But it's a heavy topic. And it's not something that's going to go away. It's the oldest business. Selling bodies for money. Selling sex for cash. That is the oldest business. And it's going to be around forever. You can, but I don't think just letting it be wild, open, and legal is a solution. No, that just makes the problem even bigger, as we talked about. People don't like it being it. People don't like it that it's illegal because it makes it where it has to operate in the dark, and there all sorts of shady stuff happens. Yes, true. But even if you were to bring the illegal activity to the light, the ugly stuff that was happening is still happening. In fact, it might be able to happen more. And there's studies that show that. Because people are so distracted by what they see in the light. What does it happen with porn? The porn industry. Most people don't have a problem with porn. They have no idea that with porn, there's underage girls that go into porn. How does that happen? Are they checking for IDs? Hey, well, if the ID says 18, hey. I have a question: this webcam streams. Where's this webcam stream coming from? This girl does not look. Those Russian ones, yeah, those are always susceptible. Those are always suspect, very sus. Anyway, so I think this was a pretty good, interesting stream. Good way to break in this channel. Talk about a little bit of Ethan Ralph. Talk about prostitutes. Good stuff. And coming from a guy who's smoking a cigar and wearing shades inside, it might seem kind of weird, right? What am I giving ethical advice? I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't want women to have to resort to prostitution. They shouldn't have to. But that they also wouldn't do it if guys didn't pay for it either, huh? What do? You stop the simp? You can't stop the simp. Not every time. No. You try to do better. You try to do better. That's what you do. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this stream up here. You guys, ladies, have a good one.